That kiss
Yo,
in her
that's
mind.
gonna go. That's gonna go back.
Of get it with me.
That one and Beautiful People. That's gonna go off. That's gonna go off.
No, his whole concert's gonna go off. Loyal, with you, take it down. I can't. I'm gonna go nuts at this. I can't.
Yo,
wait.
just imagine Mo like Diddy bopping to Chris Brown's slow tunes.
Is it seated? You in the seated area? Ugh.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 83 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast with your boys Peter,
Yo.
Mohammed,
Hello.
myself, Yemi. We're here, our last episode of 2022.
Hey.
How we doing, boys?
Blessed, man, and highly favoured. How are you?
All good. Braved the snow and the ice and the cold to come all the way over here
Fam, come
to
see
pod.
I buckled on the way here, bro.
Oh, you buckled?
My hip came out of place, fam. It was
Hip
mad.
contusion.
Fam.
Contusion. Contusion.
Fam.
Contusion.
Hilarious, man. I didn't see it coming, bro.
There was a brother at work today that started
This one
slipping.
Talib Kweli verse, I was in it.
Yo,
And then, fam, the snow just...
yeah, but you see how the Lord works. This is the time Talib Kweli you drop on the road. Is
Yes.
that not the Lord working?
You feel
Is that not
me?
the Lord working?
That's what you get for listening to Talib Kweli in
It was
2022.
a Black Star tune, innit? But he was rapping at the time.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened if it was Moss.
True.
Fair.
Hey.
Mohammed, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm chilling, man. God is good all the time.
All the time.
All the
God
time,
is
God's
good.
good.
There we go.
Feel you. Shout out Drake's in the cut as well.
Drake's as
Salute
always.
to Drake's.
You saying, bro? All good, man. All
Absolute
good.
scoundrel. That just lies. But let's continue the podcast.
What?
All the better for seeing all of you. I don't know where that went, but cool. Yeah. Appreciate everyone listening and watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening. Shout out to you. We're going to get into some shout outs at the end of the show. But before we get to that, it's the end of the year and what has been a very interesting year for hip hop and rap generally in the US and the UK. The time has come. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and at every point at the end of the year, we do our end of year roundup of all of our favorite bits and bobs from the past 365 days. And we're here again to do that. So this episode is basically going to be us breaking down our favorite albums, our favorite rappers, our favorite producers, our most disappointing albums, and anything else that we care to share. So before we get into it, boys, how do you feel 2022 has been as far as rap and hip hop goes?
Well, I think it's been a really strong year, man. I think I've enjoyed a hell of a lot of albums this year, man. So, you know, I'm not necessarily like always clued up on what happens in the mainstream, but just as far as
Really?
based on the albums that I've listened to, there's been a lot of good albums that have come out this year, man. So I feel like, yeah, man, it's been a good year for me personally as far as albums and that. So yeah, it's been dope.
Mo?
Yeah, same, man. There's been years where if you ask me to name your 5 best albums of the year, I'll struggle. I could have reeled off like just 8, 9. Easy that.
I've got at least 15, but
Do you get what I mean?
won't
Like,
say 'em all.
but like previous years, it would have been you would have to
Yeah.
think. Imagine a year where you can reel off 10 of your favorite albums of the year. I'll take that all day long, man. I've had great verses, great memories, great moments, great albums. I think it's been a great year.
I agree. I think on both sides of the pond, a lot of major players came to play, delivered some great stuff, and you know some less major players came to play as well and dropped some equally amazing stuff as well. I think whether you're a fan of mainstream, underground, everything in between, you were eating this year. So yeah, I think generally it's just been a very good year, and looking forward to get into what some of our faves were. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll start with our favorite albums of the year. And as the person with the most vim for this topic, I'll ask Peter to go first for your top 5 favorite albums of 2022.
So I've got Black Star, No Fear of Time as my number 1. I'm doing these in order.
Are you doing it in order?
In order. Number 2, I've got Koji Radical, A Reason to Smile, Black Thought and Danger Mouse, Cheat Codes, Willie the Kid, Deutschmarks 3, Rock Marciano and Alchemist, The Elephant Man's Bones. Those are my top 5 favorite albums of the year.
Okay. And what is that based on?
Just the core principles of hip hop, isn't it? Man?
You would say that.
Know what I mean?
I said the core
Beats and
principles.
bars, man. Just keep it simple, man. I feel like
This brother was definitely at the first hip hop party hosted by Cool Herc in
you're not
1972.
number one.
You're
You're not
not.
even the best.
Nah, you were there,
can't win no real contest.
You were in Sedgwick in
know what,
you were in Sedgwick in 1973.
Bruv,
You
you know what
definitely
it's
were,
for someone to say the court of hip hop?
the core principles of hip hop.
Yuck.
And that man used to say "boy" for no reason at all.
They used to win it with their neck.
Them man,
Boy,
you,
and it's their neck.
you
It's
and
their
them man.
neck.
What do you mean, bro?
With these bean pie selling ass, bro. Sorry.
Relax.
Alright, cool. So, what was your number
Yeah,
one?
man, just bars and beats, man. These are like probably the 5 albums that I've gone back to the most. That at the time of listening to them moved me the most. To where I was like, yo, this is fucking amazing. I've got like a long list of albums that I've enjoyed this year, but though, and I could have picked any 5 to be honest, but those 5 were probably the ones I've been back to the most.
What did you love about each one?
Black Star, it was just good to hear them back together, man. Like we had heard about the album for so long. I'd heard that, Madlib was supposed to produce it and then he ended up doing it. And then like the thought of that happening was always something I thought was going to be amazing. So to finally get it, I was like, yes, this lived up to expectation, man. And it was just dope. It was very succinct. It was cohesive. Rhyme-wise, like they both sounded amazing. And they've been in the game for time. So it was just, it was kind of nostalgic, but it still sounded very, very fresh at the same time, innit? And then I think for Rock Marciano and Alchemist, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Rock Marcy. He's one of my favourite rappers. And I think for a long time there's been talk about, similar to the Black Star album, like a lot of conversation about Rock and Alchemist coming together and doing the album. So it finally happened and they delivered. And I remember I wasn't sure how I felt about it when I first listened, but when I sat with it, I was like, yeah, this is fire, man. This is dope. I feel like Rock Marcy's still rapping at a very high level. And Alchemist, I'm running out of ways to describe his genius at this point, man. He's incredible, man. And he's just been extremely consistent over like the last 4 or 5 years. And just adding this to it as well is just like further evidence of his excellence, man. And then like Willie the Kid, I feel like V-Don might have produced this whole thing, but he just does what he does, man. He's in that sort of Griselda, Rock Marcy bag as well, as far as what he does with the rhymes and what he does with the beats, man. And this one's just very basic, man. I just enjoyed the beats and I just thought he was rhyming at a very high level. And then Black Thought, Danger Mouse, again, this is also something that was spoken about years ago. And I think it was supposed to be called something else. I think Masterpiece Theatre.
Terrible.
No, actually, no. Dangerous Thoughts. It was supposed to be called Dangerous Thoughts.
Still a terrible name.
Whatever. So I didn't actually think we were going to get it. So when they announced that it was coming out, I couldn't wait. And then, yeah, it delivered, man. And he had like a posthumous MF Doom verse on it as well. And yeah, man, it was just dope. And I love it when Danger Mouse does hip hop. And, Black Thought, like rhyming with a producer that can, deliver such amazing beats for him was just fire as well. And then Koji Radical, bro, oh man. That one was a bit of a surprise. I didn't have any expectations, but I didn't expect his album to be as good as it was. And I was just very, very happy to hear what I got from him, man. I've been a fan for a while now. I loved his Kashmir Tears project. So, this kind of being the follow-up to that, I was like, yes, this is dope, man. So, yeah, man, I thought just all 5 albums have been amazing for me, man. So, yeah.
The foundations of hip-hop. Said
You know
by
what I mean?
Peter.
Brought to you by Peter.
I'm a simple guy, man. I don't need much, man. Just give me like amazing beats and high-level like bars and
you're good.
I'm Gucci, man.
Hey, man. You used to be the B-boy in your past life.
Hey, man.
He was everything in his past life. He
definitely
did
was
all
with
the
the
4
Kangol hat.
elements.
With
He
the
did all the
Kangol
4
hat.
elements.
He graffitied at one point.
Yeah.
He definitely done graffiti.
He was the master of ceremonies
He
before there was
was
an
the master of
MC.
ceremonies.
Well, the only thing I
yes,
didn't do
you know
is breakdance.
I think you break down.
You definitely broke
And I
down.
never
broke down
MC'd.
something.
Listen,
I
man.
never
You
MC'd.
didn't try to.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
You see?
I remember I wrote some bars down and someone said it was whack.
Do you know what the bars are?
And I never, hell no. So I never tried again, man. They destroyed my dream, bruv.
Appreciate that person, though.
Why?
Because what if you were whack?
I could have been amazing, though. He could have just been a hater.
He could have been a hater.
You know
But
what I
what
mean?
if you were whack?
I think he was whack, so he's projecting.
Yeah, he might have been projecting.
Christmas treat for everyone listening and watching. Peter used to rap.
Did you
How
ever
about
rap?
that?
No, I didn't used to rap. I just tried to, write.
Did you
He
ever
used
rap?
to rap.
No, I didn't get that far.
Alright, just checking.
Pete used to rap, man.
I would have been dope.
That's the agenda I'm sticking with.
I would have been dope, though.
I'm with you.
Anyway,
Evidently.
what have been your favourite albums of the year?
I've got mine ranked.
I didn't
as
even
well.
get to do my honourable mentions, but we can do that later.
We can do that later. So number 5, we've got Mini Kings, Iconacy.
Okay.
Number 4, Koji Radical, Reason to Smile. Number 3, Nux, Alpha Place. Number 2, there's an album that dropped on Christmas Eve last year, but I actually don't care because listen, it's still in the last 365 days. Magic by Nas. And number 1, I've got Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Mm.
Now, Mini Kings, I mean, it's just fly shit, innit? Like,
Jiggy.
it's fly shit that you can just vibe out to, that atmospheric sound that you can dance to, that you can, like, just do anything to, really and truly. It's it's so good. Like, what they do for, like, UK music and just music generally, like, they've got their own sound and they ride with it, and the results are always wavy. So I had to salute Mini Kings. This My list is basically a criteria similar to you, like the albums that I went back to the most, and I found myself going back to Mini Kings so much. So shout out all of the Mini Kings, shout out Iconacy, shout out one of the tracks of the year, New Skincare,
Gee, that's a
Iced Out
bad
Summer
one.
as well, and a bag of others. Yeah, man, had me in my bag a couple times. So shout out to them. Koji Radical, yeah, man. I think for me, I was just very, very satisfied with how it came out because I've been following Koji for probably around 6, 7 years. From the kind of more incendiary poetry to now what he's doing now. And I was very, very happy for him, especially with the album sounding as triumphant and as majestic as it sounded. It was just one of those ones where, you know, it had songs like Silk, it had Payback, it had Gangsta, it had all the title track, all these amazing songs. And he was spitting, absolutely spitting. So, you know, I found myself going back to that a lot. Confidence, poise, you know, all that. So shout out to Koji, man. Very much a full package on this album. Nux Alpha Place, man. Nux, man. He's had a hell of a year. I think for me, it was probably one of the more complete albums of the year. Just as far as like it having a story arc, a beginning, a middle, and the end. Followed through with ease. If you think about songs like Alpha House, Leon the Professional, Hide and Seek, Die Hard, Three Musketeers, like, and he also produced pretty much, or had a hand in producing every track as well. So I think, you know, you got to give extra bonus points to him for that. He was in his bag, man. Anytime a rapper talks about his origins and he talks about the things that matter most to him, you can see the intent, you can see the consideration, you can see the methodicalness of how they want to rap and how they want to make music. And I think you see that and you hear that on Alpha Place as well, man. It was just an amazing listen. So shout out to Nux as well. Nas Magic, yeah, man. I remember when I first heard this.
That's an
and
asterisk, man.
It's not an asterisk,
That's an
bro.
asterisk,
I
bro.
don't get.
Yo.
Brother, look at me.
That's an asterisk.
I
still,
don't
man.
It's an asterisk.
Because if he
care.
was gonna do that, I would have chucked it in there as well.
I can't
I
lie.
don't
It's an asterisk, bro.
care.
Yeah, but it's an asterisk.
It's an asterisk.
Can I flip it and add mine?
Okay, fine. Give it an asterisk. I don't care.
It's an asterisk, isn't it?
I don't care.
Just saying it's an asterisk.
Cool.
But why?
But anyway, why, bruv? When I first heard Speechless, I
Talk
think I
about
messaged the group and I was like, brother, this boy Hit Boy lost his mind. He lost his mind on this tune. And I just think, like, as far as Nas and the golden run he's been having recently, especially with KD3 as well, that dropped this year, bruv, same thing as Pio. Dope beats, dope rhymes, Nas in the run of his life, Hit Boy just making amazing beats for fun. Speechless is a banger, Meet Joe Black is a banger, 4016 Building, Wave Gods, The Truth, Hollywood Gangster, Woo for the Children. I'm basically naming the whole album. But yeah, man, amazing album that I just found myself going back to pretty much every week, from like when it dropped to now. So yeah, man, listen, anytime my favorite rapper of all time drops an amazing album, I'm gonna rinse the shit out of that.
What's the problem
So,
with that?
you feel me? So yeah, had to put that in there. Asterix be damned. And then Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Man, Kendrick Lamar, yeah, man, amazing album. Obviously, I think this is the album that divided a lot of people around Kendrick, just as far as like, A, what he was talking about, B, who was on the album, C, the music itself. But for me, I thought it was just incredible. An incredible look and insight into what Kendrick is feeling and thinking right now in 2022. Just as far as like him being so tormented by like generational trauma, family trauma, going to therapy, infidelity, and the idea of, you know, people putting him on so much of a pedestal that he wants to kind of like reject that and kind of, you know, repress that. You know, I felt a lot of emotion. I felt a lot of color coming out of this album. The raps were incredible. The beats were incredible. And yeah, man, I just felt like from beginning to end, it was a story that came good. And yeah, man, it was just an incredible album, man. So for me, that's my favorite album for sure.
Fair dues, fair dues.
Mohammed?
I've got my number 1, and then I've got another 4. Just the
Okay.
best way I can put it. Favorite album of the year, clearly everyone knows, Mr. Moran and the Big Steppers. Then I've got j.i.d, The Forever Story, Pusha T, It's Almost Dry, Cole G, A Reason to Smile, and I've got King's Disease 3. But that might be more recency bias than anything else. But yo, that's my order. Reason why I got j.i.d is because I think it might have been a surprise factor, because I've listened to him before, but I didn't know he could rap like this, I'll be honest with you. Like, I didn't know he could get busy like this. The pockets he was finding, and it's a different kind of rap than what I'm used to as well. So I was like, yo, I really fuck with this album. So j.i.d's there. Cole G, same reason. First, we reviewed it on the podcast. It was the first time I listened to Cole G properly. And it was the adventure I went on. Like, I didn't know what to expect going into his album. And I think I've gone back to that album more than I knew till I listened to it like recently. And I know damn near every song word for word. I think Cole G Radical absolutely spaz on his album. Can't lie. Third, what else did I have? Pusha T, It's Almost Dry. I love hearing Pusha T talk about cocaine. Fight me, shoot me. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm never going to get bored of it. I'm sorry. Pusha T is one of my favorite consistent rappers. I can't lie to you, out of everyone that's rapping. I loved everything about this album. Malice has got, I don't mean to spoil it, but Malice has got my verse of the year on that album. I think he absolutely went crazy. So by default, he's got verse of the year on that album from me. And Pusha T still held his weight. I really fucked with the album. King's Disease 3, same reason with you guys. I just heard good production, good bars, and I'm content. I don't need too much sometimes. Just let me sit down, decipher what you're saying, and I'm comfortable. So that's why King's Disease 3 is there for me. And then, I said everyone.
Amazing.
So that'll be my top 5.
Solid list.
That's my top 5. Kendrick will be, if I had to do it in order, just off the top of my head right now, I will probably have Kendrick first, j.i.d second. The order I've done it in anyway. Pusha third, Cole G fourth, King's Disease 3.
Pusha T appears in one of my lists, but you're not going to like it. Anyway,
You're so disrespectful.
any honorable mentions, guys?
I got Benny the Butcher on my honorable mention.
Tana Talk 4?
Yeah.
Is that the only one?
Yeah, that's the only one I had on my thing.
I've got loads, bruv.
I've got a few.
I've got KD3 by Nas, Nux, Alpha Place, Rome Streets, Kiss the Ring, Benny the Butcher, Tana Talk 4, Jeshi, Universal Credit, Westside Gun 10. The list goes on, but I'll stop there.
How many of you have you
I
got?
got loads, bro. There's so many albums I
There
enjoyed
was,
this
there
year,
was.
man. Yeah, for sure.
I've got Freddie Gibbs, Soul separately.
Oh, okay.
Jeshi, Universal Credit. Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. Black Thought and Danger Mouse, Cheat Codes. Earl Sweatshirt, Sick. And Nas, KD3. For me, it's been a great year.
It's actually really been a good, because even the albums that no one had Pusha, that they have some of yours, like we all got a different 5. Maybe I think Cole G's the only one that's in everyone's, right?
Is Cole G in your one?
So he's the only consistent.
He is the only consistent.
Salute to Cole G Radical, man.
It would have been Kendrick if he liked the shit, but
He's a hater. But
move.
salute to Cole G Radical, man.
Yeah, salute to Cole G Radical. Probably the
Honorable
MVP.
mention to Sims as well, man.
Honorable mention to Sims as well.
Yeah. I'm going to do what you done with next year with Sims, by the way.
Listen.
I'm letting you know now.
Listen,
Since we could do that, when do we do this next year?
It's changed the rules.
You
innit?
should just change the rules. Oh, it came out December 15th, but who cares? See, that's what you
Christmas
wanna
Eve,
do.
actually.
What?
Christmas Eve, actually.
All right, well, I'm taking your rule and using it next year. If it comes out in December, you can count it as next year.
I think that's how most award shows.
That's how
go
award
anyway,
shows.
to be fair.
Yeah, so Little Sims will be there, because I've heard Little Sims albums phenomenal, so salute to Little Sims.
It's really fucking good.
Is it really? I'm looking forward to it. Do you know what it is?
You'll like it.
This week I was just more listening to some albums that I remember myself. Oh yeah, and I also got Dirk as that honorable mention as well. Forgot to mention.
Wow.
Can I not enjoy Dirk's music?
Okay. Moving swiftly
Imagine
on,
you had
then.
Dirk in my top 5. Hey, this guy would have.
Let's move swiftly
told
on.
you what, man.
Let's move swiftly on to our favorite rappers of the year. Mo, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and simple. I got Cole because of the features he had this year. I had it written down. I just need to find it. He had about 5 features this year. And he's got one of my favorite verses of the year as well on Benny the Butcher song. I got j.i.d. Absolutely spazzed on his album. Did you know he could rap like that before this dropped?
Yes.
So
Bro, if you listen to his last tapes, he's been rapping
so
like
I was
this.
sleeping.
You were sleeping?
I was sleeping. No, because I've known Earthgang and I've heard of him before as well. It's just one of those things where you know when someone's sounds just put you off and you just assume. I think it's my fault. I just assumed that he can't rap like that.
Bro, I listen to
And
Crack Sandwiches.
Bro, that's one of my, like, he spazzed on that. So it's one of my things where I think me and you spoke about j.i.d. at your party, actually, at your birthday, and I think I spoke to you about him. I was like, yo, bro, do you know he snapped like this on his album as well? And maybe he was like, yeah, like he's been doing it. So I've got him. I've got Kendrick just because you can't give me an album like Mr. Morale, Big Steppers, and not be one of the best rappers of the year. I'm sorry. Every single song, everything had a story. And I've got one of the GOATs, Nas, because every time he drops an album, by default, I think he has to be one of the best rappers of the year. Like, what can you do? It's by default. If you drop a rap album and you're Nas, you have to be one of the best rappers of the year.
Mm.
So that'll be mine. Yeah, that'll be mine.
Is your criteria?
I've also got Benny as well.
It's interesting because I specifically chose not to put him in mine.
Why?
Him and Black Thought. Because they're in the conversation of the GOATs, innit? So I didn't.
That's
really
why I
wanna,
thought. Alright,
automatically, if they're rapping, they're gonna be one of the
if
best.
I
that
if I
goes
swap
into
him out,
I
criteria.
think that goes without saying.
That
so
goes
if I-
into criteria.
can I just say if I was to take Nas out, I'll put Benny there because I've got Benny on my list as well because of
Okay.
Tana Talk.
But that goes into criteria, right? If judging your favorite rappers is based solely on performance, then
They probably should be there, right?
then they should be.
Then
in
they
there.
deserve it. Yeah, so I would have Kendrick, j.i.d, Nas, Benny, Cole.
Yeah, mine's on performance.
Yeah,
and on
cool.
performance,
That's
and you know the rappers that I enjoyed the most, I've got Nux, Sims, Kendrick, Nas, and Jeshi.
okay.
Nux because I feel like he's just he reached another level this year. I kind of already knew that how much of a dope MC he was and how much he relied on the storytelling aspect, but he kind of took that and he elevated it, man. And I think some of the
Leon the
stories,
professional.
I think some of the stories he was telling this year,
Different.
different gravy. Sims was a late entry, but bruv, some of the rapping she was doing on this new album, no thank you. Like, how could you not put her in? Like, Gorilla, bruv. Angel, like, it's just too much, man.
I need to sit on it.
And here's the thing, she was rapping for fun for a lot of
Angel,
that.
bro.
Like,
Is it crazy?
yeah, man, she was
Crazy.
doing a madness, absolute madness. So I had to put Sims in there.
Can't wait.
Kendrick as well, kind of more for the storytelling aspect as well, because I think again he's like one of rap's best storytellers right now, and just for his performance on Mr. Morale, got to put him in there. Nas as well, for Magic and KD3, like he's just tap dancing over everything Hit Boy gives him.
Tap dancing.
Tap dancing, you know what I mean, break dancing, doing what
Shout out
beating
to
them,
Peter.
man. Yeah. So yeah, had to put him in there. And Jeshi, I'm putting in there because I think he is one of those rappers that does really well the idea of making the abstract or, you know, anything that might seem a bit like alternative, very like mundane.
Yeah.
If you listen to his album Universal Credit, he's talking about like people. He's talking about the lower levels of society.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about people on benefits. He's talking about people like with not much money. He's talking about like all that kind of stuff, the kind of working class shit. But he does it so well. Like
I think he did what Slow Tie was trying to do.
I think with Jeshi, it might have been the clarity might have been a bit more.
Mm.
I think he had more emphasis on the bars versus Slow Tie. Maybe was kind of more of the whole package, and maybe the bars kind of suffered a bit. But Jeshi as a spitter, yeah, man,
Got busy.
yeah, he was talking this year. So that's my top 5.
I got Rock Marcy, Nas, Ransom, Koji Radical, Nux, Rome Streets, and Black Thought.
So you got 7.
Yeah.
Talk to me about
People
changing the
I
rules.
think, I think lyrically they just all performed at a crazy high level for me, man, and that was what I was basing off. I could
Yeah.
throw Lloyd Banks in there as well. He had a dope year.
That's a good shout, by the way.
Sims as well, late entry as well. Kendrick as well. Regardless of how I felt about the album musically, I think lyrically he was on another level still. So yeah, salute to all them, man.
Salute to all of them. Sims, the only reason I would always put Sims in there is just I haven't sat on the album yet, so I don't know that to myself.
You got any honorable mentions?
Nah.
I got Denzel Curry. I got to shout him out because I feel like he had a great year.
I think Push was rapping at a very high level on his album, regardless of how I felt about the album.
Could put him in there.
Salute to Pushing one of my favorite albums of the year, so yeah, I'll put him in there as well. I
Feel
just wanted
you.
to split up a little bit.
I hear that. All right, cool. Let's move on then to our favorite verses of the year. P, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I got J. Cole on Benny the Butcher's Johnny's Caddy. That Cole verse,
Talk about it.
bro. I know that he had I think a year or two prior where he was just killing verses left, right, and center. And even around that time, I wasn't necessarily blown away by all them verses that everyone else was. But this verse, yeah, that's kind of what I've been waiting for from Cole, man. It's nice to hear him on that type of production as well, man. I feel like that's probably something that's kind of let him down. The beats that he's rapping on, innit? And yeah, he chose the right place to do it. to
Talk
kind
his
of,
shit as
yeah,
well.
to talk his shit, man. This guy was
Best rapper
But
alive.
this guy was like, on a night I was born, the rain was pouring, God was crying, lightning struck, power out his stuff. Just, I was like,
What was the Jesus bar he had? I remember he had a Jesus bar as well, that was just
I
crazy.
can't remember,
He
man.
had a
but
Jesus
yeah.
bar that was crazy.
That's how he started the verse, bro. So I was like, okay, cool.
Wait.
We're here. Because
We've arrived.
he's with Benny as well, man. He had to kind of step it up. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't be a slouch in it. And yeah, he did his thing on that, man. He did his thing. So yeah, that's one of my favorite verses of the year. And then Benny the Butcher had a song called 10 More Crack Commandments, which is like a salute to Notorious B.I.G.'s 10 Crack Commandments. And it was one whole long verse. And that
Social
whole
media
verse was just
snitching.
dope. I just loved what he did there, man. And then Ransom, he had a song called Circumstances on an album called No Rest for the Wicked, which also dropped this year, featuring Game. And I think it was the third verse that I thought he just like went blind, man. He was like really going in on his like multi-syllabic rapping, and yeah, he was just really hitting for me. And then I've got Kendrick Lamar, third verse on Mother Are Sober. It was just like, it just felt very like climatic. It was cinematic. It felt very empowering. Like he'd finally like, there was a breakthrough that took place on that song, and just the ability to make me feel all those things in a verse. Yeah, man. I was like, yeah, this is different gravy, man. So salute him on that. And then another Kendrick verse on the Heart Part 5, on the last verse where he was rapping from the perspective of Nipsey. That really touched me. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was like really, really dope, and I thought that was one of the best like verses of the year, no doubt. And then my last one is Nas on Done, which is one long verse. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, he floated on that, where he had the bar about Jay putting Ether on title.
Yeah.
I thought he floated all over that, man. So yeah, those are like my favourite verse of the year.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Mo?
You know what's crazy? We got quite a few. So I had
similar?
What'd you say?
Same similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had Kendrick, the Heart, the Nipsey bit. That was
Oh,
one of my
okay.
favorite verses as well. I had Benny the Butcher, 10 More Commandments.
Mm.
I had J. Cole, Benny the Butcher, Johnny P. Caddy. I had Malice on Pusha T's album. And then, that was it. So
That's interesting.
we had literally, if you threw it, we
Yeah.
had very much similar.
So have I converted you into a Griselda guy?
You
Clearly.
converted me to a Benny fan.
Alright.
I'm not even going to hold you.
You know, Conway's better than him, innit?
For real?
Yeah, man.
No, you have fully...
Conway.
Bro, when I heard, because I remember in the 10 More Commandments, he had the social media snitching bit.
Yeah,
He got busy. I can't lie. Yeah. So I had that. I also got, by the way,
did.
Pusha, just so you remember.
Mm.
I think it was the second or first verse. I think he absolutely spazzed. I had that in there as well. So that's mine. But we've got damn near. There's nothing I can say about Benny the Butcher's 10 More Commandments. Is the way he took that song and brought it to today is crazy to me.
Yeah.
There was commandments that back then, social media didn't exist back then. He added that to
Yeah,
he got busy. J. Cole is, like you said, talked his shit. The Nipsey part of the Heart, flawless to me. Malice's verse, hearing Malice talk like that, it was different. Like, I ain't heard of Malice in a minute. And I thought he's going to come back on some gospel thing. He came out talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he come back. So that sums up all of mine, man. And that's pretty much it, yeah. Very
Feel you.
similar. You've converted me.
I hear that one. I've got Kendrick Lamar's second verse on Savior. I've got Black Thought on Belize. I've got Doom on Belize.
Okay.
I've got Lupe Fiasco's first verse on Goatee. I've got Westside Gun on Peppers. And I've got
That will get him.
and I've got Nux on Payback.
Mm.
Yeah. Kendrick, I think with Savior's probably my most played song of the year. And Kendrick Lamar's second verse always struck me. On top of like catching COVID and starting to question Kyrie.
Started Christian Kyrie. Would I stay up leave?
But it was like, it was a verse dedicated to calling out hypocrisy. And like
Was
just
Kodak on that?
no, it was Baby Keem and Sam Dew. So shout out to them.
That's the first one. He was like, one protest for you.
Yeah, so
365
bite their
for
tongues
me.
in rap lyrics, scared to get crucified about a song, but they won't admit it. Politically correct is how they keep an opinion. N-words are tight-lipped. Fuck you, dare to be different. Seen the Christian say the vaccine mark of the beast. Then he caught COVID and started to pray to Pfizer for relief. Then I caught COVID and started to Christian.
Do you want to know the hurricanes? I'll get some.
Exactly. He floated the thing so nicely. The way he was talking about as well, like, yeah, man, he was talking on that one, man. So I that's just one that really, really resonated with me. Black Thought on Belize when you actually look at the lyrics and what he's actually speaking about, like Black Thought, yeah, he
Talk that shit.
he, you know what it is? He starts with something completely random. And then by the time he's done, it's a completely other random thing. But it's amazing.
It all
like,
makes
it's
sense.
it's poetry. It's poetry.
The imagery on a lot
the
of his
imagery,
verses are wild,
like the
bro.
half bars, you know, the outside bars, like everything is just amazing, man.
Salute to
And
Black Thought, man.
Doom on Belize has probably got my favorite line of the year, where he says, "Danger will make a groove off a glitch," and I was just like, "What?" I don't care if this is an old verse from like the Danger Doom days, which is like '05. I don't care. They let this one out the chamber, and he just did his thing.
Still relevant today.
Still relevant today, man, and it made me miss Doom, man, for sure. West Side Gun on Peppers, he was just chatting his shit. Chatting his shit. He knew he had to play with Black Star, and he did the thing, man. Shout out to Conductor
seen the
Williams as
video?
well. I haven't seen the video yet, no. But yeah, bruv, man was talking about go yard on the shoulder, and I was like, okay, do your thing, bro. I see you, Art Basel, and that shit. I see you. Just talking his fly shit. So yeah, I really much appreciated that. Knocks on Payback. Ah, man. Floated.
Yeah.
Floated. What did he say? 20 seconds to go, so solid, or is it 21? Forgive me, I was young.
Young.
What was he doing, man? What was he doing? But yeah, man, that song, and I remember Peter saying in the review we did for Reason to Smile, it felt like Koji and Nux were competing.
Fam.
And Nux set the tone.
You, bro.
Nux set the tone, man. He set the tone. So yeah, shout out to him for that, man. And Lupe on Goti, yeah, man. Listen, it was like maybe 8 bars, but bruv, he was doing the most on that one, man. Oh, yeah, man. What did he say? Capture catastrophes like a camera feed. I was like, what? This is the Lupe I've missed.
Yo, I love
So
that.
yeah, man. Yeah,
love
I had to give Lupe a shout as well, man, for sure. He came back with a bang this year as well. So yeah, that's mine. Any honorable mentions, guys?
I got
Manless for me.
I
Manless.
got
Manless
Costa
is
Contra. I think that's how you pronounce their name.
Coast Contra.
Yeah, they're never the freestyle. What's it called?
Ooh, I was listening to that yesterday.
They're never freestyle.
Stupid.
That's
stupid.
That freestyle there. I don't know if you can
The whole
see
song.
the whole thing.
Yeah, man.
Whatever bracket you want to put that
Stupid.
in, it's the best of this year.
Stupid.
They absolutely lost their mind.
They
on
did.
there. So yeah, that's
One was
what-
speaking Spanish in the middle of it
Brother,
as well.
just
like,
for banter.
yeah,
Like,
mad.
nah, yeah, that'll be. So that's my honorable mention.
Yeah, that's a
Also,
fire.
just for banter, Cardi B.
Oh, and tomorrow.
Cuz, I'm sorry, bro. She's
F&F.
I'm sorry, bro. She's bad.
She floated.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, me.
Don't be sorry,
Oh,
bro.
my N was hood as fuck.
And
Did
I'm
it
swinging over. Nah, you crazy. Nah, she look buff. Nah, I'm sorry, Cardi B.
Wow, okay. Feel you though.
Respectfully, she look beautiful.
Respect to her.
No, yeah, so it'll be Cardi B and Coast Contra. However you pronounce their name, bruv.
I hear it, man. Listen, man. It's been a great year for verses.
What about you? Any honorable mention?
J.
guys?
Cole as well. Johnny P's caddy. I listened to that again yesterday as well, and I was just like, this guy. Whew.
Stay like this.
Stay like this, bruv.
There's been a lot of dope verses this year because there's been a lot of dope music, man. So it's difficult to.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
think Lloyd Banks had a few verses on these albums.
Talib on Peppers.
Yeah, Talib floated on that as well. Talib floated on a song called Supreme Alchemy on the Black Star album. It's actually the only song that he had by himself on it, and yeah, he was going. He was going, man.
You've got so many verses.
Elzai had a song called King Shit. I think verse 2 was fire. That was on the album that he did with Georgia and Mojo. She produced the whole thing.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, so that was dope as well. But yeah, man, there's too many strong verses this year to pick, man.
Facts,
There was a
man.
lot. Auntie Diary's the third verse was crazy.
Mm.
Kendrick, Auntie Diary's that third verse.
We cried together.
We cried together.
You know what I mean?
What was the one?
love off that
the
song.
last verse on Father Time.
Yeah.
The last
yeah,
verse?
yeah.
That hit my solar
he was
plexus,
going in
guys.
on that.
That hit my solar plexus.
Baby Keem's, you know the Savior interlude?
Yeah.
You ever had your mama strung out way of study division?
Mm.
I was like, yeah, you got me, sir.
But we've got too many verses this year to pick from. It's actually
That's cool,
stupid, man. It's actually dumb. It's actually
Facts.
dumb.
Cool. Well, we'll move swiftly on then.
I'm annoyed that I didn't say Savior, by the way.
Bruv.
I'm really annoyed that I didn't say Savior.
Amazing song, man. Amazing
Stand
song.
on it 6'5" from 5'5", fun fact. Then I like shit back. Nah, man. Salute to Kendrick. You're actually an amazing rapper.
Facts. All right, cool. Let's move on now to our surprise packages of the year. The rappers that surprised us the most this year, as far as maybe their output or their lyrical offering. This should be an interesting one. I'll go first because I got a few. I've got K-Trap. I've got M Honcho, Meeks Manny, Shay Noir. and
Shane
Peter-
who?
Shay Noir.
She's fire.
Sir.
And Peter, brace yourself. Rock Marciano.
Hey.
So K-Trap, I think K-Trap has a strong case for MVP of UK, of the UK rap this year, because not only did he drop his joint tape with Blade Brown, which was very enjoyable, he also dropped The Last Whip 2, which had a few bangers on there. There's like one song with Krypton Conan where Krypton Conan went off. Krypton Conan, they deserve like an honorable mention for like favorite verse of the year for me as well. And he was just everywhere. He did the Warm remix with Skepta, and that was a big moment. Like you watch the video and like the whole scene is in that video. Like not on a Stormzy thing, but kind of more on a more Grease thing. So K-Trap did his thing, and I think lyrically he's improved. Like he's always been like that kind of, he's always done that drill content, but you know, stepping out into more of like Blade Brown's world, where it's more of like the UK rap, trap sort of thing. He floated on that, and he's still able to do the drill stuff as well. So I really enjoyed his output this year. So such K-Trap. M Honcho has probably got the album of the year for me that surprised me the most. Chasing Euphoria from front to back, even though it's like maybe like an hour and 10 minutes, is a very enjoyable album. It's very like, it's got so much variety. It's got so many dope guest verse. He himself, in terms of like the subject matter, he's really like going into his like identity and his background and stuff. And I really enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed it. Shout out to Emmanuel who put me onto it. Like very enjoyable. So like, been back to it a couple times, and yeah, man. I mean, even though I had my reservations at first because I thought like the kind of like melodic thing that he was doing wasn't the best. He proved me wrong to this year, man. So shout out to him. Meeks, I first heard Meeks on Dave's In the Fire, and he had a great verse. And he dropped the tape this year, and it was really good. He got another great verse from Dave. He got some good stuff from Central C, but he's kind of like one of those. He would have fit very perfectly in like that first/second generation of road rap. Like he's very much that aesthetic, but he can also do drill. He can do the kind of road rap as well. Like lyrically, he was like really dope this year. He's got a lot of clarity. You know, he sounds hungry. Whatever verse he's rapping. So yeah, had to salute Meeks as well. Shay Noir. Yeah, that was her album this year. Food for Thought was the first time I'd heard her, and dope. Like I would file her underneath like Ransom and you know Rock Marcy and that kind of crowd.
Yeah, she raps a lot with Ransom and 38 Special.
Yes, and yeah, she makes her own beats as well, and it's kind of that world as well. So as a double threat, yeah, man, she
got an album with Apollo Brown that I think you'll like.
Yes, she dropped it last year.
Yeah.
I think as God intended.
Something
like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna check that out. But yeah, dope lyricist, dope producer. Looking forward to hearing more from her as well. And Rock Marcy. I mean, story time, people. Probably since as long as I've known this brother called Peter, he's been trying to put me onto Rock Marciano, and for one reason or another, I've just never got around to it. Maybe just because you know out of defiance, because like
pride is the devil.
Yeah, I'm saying like, you know what I'm saying like, but Rock Marcy came to play this year. The album with Alchemist is fantastic. Daddy Kane is one of my favorite tracks of the year. Quantum League.
Liquid Coke,
Quantum Leap, fantastic stuff there. And I've always said, when it comes to lyricism, it's not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. And I think Rock Marcy is a master of taking things that people have already said and putting his own spin on it. And he did that amazingly this year. So I got a shout out Rock Marcy. Like, pride to the side. Shout out Rock Marcy for that one there. So that's me.
I accept on his behalf.
Please do.
Shall I go next?
You're gone.
Because you're Pimpire, don't you? Aren't you?
Yeah, I'm part of the crew in that.
Yeah.
So I've got 3. One, I owe you apology, but we'll get to that later. So I've got Koji Radical. The only reason why I say it's a surprise is because I wasn't accustomed to his music. So imagine never listening to someone and them having one of your 5 best albums of the year. The surprise factor is going to be ridiculous. And I've got him and j.i.d. j.i.d. is the exact same reason. These are just rappers I never used to take in. And for me to take in both of their albums for it to be top 5 easy with a bullet, that's the reason why I'm surprised. The third one, I'd sincerely owe you an apology because I've got Benny.
Okay.
And the reason I have Benny is because, same reason, all of the top 3 of my surprising people, they didn't surprise me in the essence that I've heard them before. I knew they could rap, and then I took it in for whatever. It was just a case where I've never taken in a project. Benny, I always knew Benny could rap. Koji and j.i.d. surprised me on a different aspect because of their body of work. I knew Benny could rap. Respectfully, you want to listen to a rap rapper? Dependent. Dependent. So, shout out to Mace. So then I went... So yeah, I thought fucking let me give Benny a try, and I'll be honest with you, it was phenomenal, man. From the 10 More Commandments to Tana Talk 4, it gave me everything I wanted, bruv. It's the street shit I like, it's the bars, the way he says it. My prototype rapper is Benny. Everything I like about my rappers is Benny the Butcher, and I remember you told me that for a long time. So the only reason why it's surprising is because it's taken me so long for me to listen to him. So
Bro, you gotta go back. You gotta listen to Tana Talk 3. You gotta listen to the.
I'm doing my
joint with,
research.
Hit Boy.
I'm doing my research. I'm doing my
Yeah,
research.
you
I
need
mean,
to,
we
bro.
thank
It's
God. We
important.
thank God.
Plugs
You
I
say-
met.
what did you add?
Plugs I met 1 and 2.
What was the last
You
thing
got
you
on
said?
with Hit Boy.
No, what, I thought you said I support you. I thought you said something mad cheeky afterwards.
No, I do support you.
Oh yeah, no. I've heard the I think it's with Henry Ford. He's got a couple.
Plugs I met 2.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard a couple of them tapes. I heard 2 of them tapes actually. I think he's got 2.
He's got Plugs I met 1 and 2.
Yeah, so I've listened to both. But yeah, I fuck with Benny a lot now. So I apologize, Peter,
It's cool, man.
for all the days I shunned you.
Sorry, man.
Shunned.
What's your list saying?
I've only got one.
Here we
Rome
go.
Streets. I hadn't really listened to much of him prior to this year. In fact, probably last year where he dropped an album with Ransom. That was the first time I'd heard of him. And I was like, okay, it's cool. This guy's all right. And then he signed to Griselda. So then, it kind of piqued my interest even more so. Then he dropped an album called Kiss the Ring. And Westside Gunn was the executive producer. And that shit was fire. I was like, who is this brother? He was just nice. He had like wonderful production. Lyrically, he was on point as well. So I was like, okay, cool. This guy's dope. So it kind of shocked me because I didn't really have much expectations for him. So it's probably been my only surprise of the year, really.
Yeah, Rome Streets is one of those guys that he's kind of been floating around for years. And I guess it's clicked this year for a wider audience because I've kind of seen him everywhere in a sense of like whenever I go on Twitter, like someone's talking about Rome Streets. He's in a lot of, I think he was in Rolling Stone's top 5 hip hop albums of the year.
For Kiss the Ring.
For Kiss the Ring, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
You heard it?
I haven't heard it yet, no. So yeah,
no.
it's on the
Maybe.
list. It's on the list.
I'll go
But
for
yeah, man, shout out to Rome Streets.
Salute to Rome Streets.
Any honorable mentions, guys?
No, man.
Nah, man.
No?
No.
Fair dues. Well, shout out to all those rappers.
Salute to all of them, man. Salute to all of them.
Moving swiftly on then, what do we do next? Let's do
Disappointment.
our most disappointing albums. I'll go first. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've only got one. And to be fair, it's actually a good reflection of the year because I actually struggled with this one. It struggled to find albums that actually disappointed me. There was another album that I had that disappointed me, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Where had you clocked? Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
But the one album that disappointed me was Pusha T, It's Almost Dry. Yeah, sorry, bro.
This guy's a disrespectful son of a gun, ain't he?
And here's the thing, I have a weird relationship with that album. Because there's a couple songs on there, Brambleton, Let the Smokers Shine the Coops, and Hear Me Clearly, that I go back to religiously. But everything else for me just didn't click.
For real.
Not really.
The
Whether it was
stove,
the
right?
production, okay, it was definitely the production because obviously, as we've said, Pusha T was rapping at a high level. But for me, like,
Was that Pharrell?
no,
It was Pharrell and Kanye. It was Pharrell and Kanye.
I preferred
Pharrell's.
Pharrell's.
It was
They-
both
they-
of them, innit?
Pharrell and
Yeah,
Kanye
it was
both,
Ye,
yeah,
it was Ye and
and
Pharrell.
Pharrell.
But I preferred Pharrell's production. So Brambleton was Pharrell. Let the Smokers Shine the Coops was Pharrell.
They're the smoke.
I can't remember what Hear Me Clearly was.
Diet Coke was Ye, right?
That Cook was Ye. So yeah, for me it just didn't. I don't know, man. It didn't really hit me in the way I wanted it to hit me.
Fair dues.
Maybe I had high expectations for it following Daytona, but for me, I just left myself wanting more from that album. So by default, I have to put that in there.
Hurts my heart, Yemi.
I'm sorry, bro.
You're right. Hurts
Sorry,
my
bro.
heart, though. God damn.
I'm sorry, man. Mo?
Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, I thought you had more.
I've only got
No.
2.
Okay, cool.
By default. I'm gonna say Drake. And the reason why I'm gonna say Drake is if you give me
Before you say that, which album?
both. And
So
the reason-
Honestly Nevermind and Her Loss.
they're both whack. Now, when you're Drake and you give me 2 albums in a calendar year and both are about 3.5, then disappointment's naturally going to be there. I don't care who you are. Once you get to that level and you're a rapper, because Drake can rap at the end of the day, and you give me 2 childish albums, one, you're complaining about women that you've lost in your life. You're 45, bro. Tell me what's going on with your life. And then another one, you give me unz music. I'm disappointed. I can't hide my disappointment. I can't shrug it. I'm disappointed. Like, I'm really upset about this.
How did you feel when you saw his?
I hate the album cover. I hate the album. Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
This is the most latest development on Aubrey. His little necklace
The
of
40
the 42 diamonds
That
for
he was
the
gonna
rings of the
propose
people
to.
he's proposed to.
Bro, he's 40 years old. When am I going to get growth in your music? When are you gonna tell me what's going on in your life? When are you gonna tell black people to invest?
Bro. He always tells us what's going on.
Like,
He's
I'm sorry.
What do you mean?
No, he don't. You know what he tells me? I split up with a girl 3 weeks ago. She broke my heart.
Bro, that's what's going on in
But
his
now we
life.
know why he breaks up with all these girls, because he proposes to them
Yeah.
and they say no.
All right, cool. Well, my disappointment is there's no growth. Whenever he drops an album, I'm naturally going to be intrigued. And for you to drop, in my
What do
opinion,
you mean there's no growth?
I don't think there's growth in his music. I'm sorry.
What? Lyrically or sonically?
Lyrically,
Oh, yo, bugging.
I apologize, bro.
This brother's
I
one of the
apologize.
most introspective guys in rap. What are we
Drake?
talking about? Cool. I think the production doesn't always
Match it.
satisfy it.
All right,
but
well, let's agree to this. I don't think
Here's
lyrically.
him talking
this guy's
about.
too in his feelings to not be introspective and to not tell us what's going on.
I don't know if that's growth though, but we'll talk about this.
Yeah,
later.
we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later because what he's talking about is that growth, or is it same thing for the last
Off the
50?
pod.
But we'll talk about it later. But yeah, I've got Drake there. Yeah, I've got Drake there, and I've got Stormzy, but we spoke about that.
This is what I mean.
Now. Yeah, but I've got Drake there just for the sole reason that you gave me 2 albums and both of them are beyond whack. Like, you look at beyond whack.
Beyond.
Guys, beyond whack. What's your one?
Are you gonna look at the camera like that?
They need to know.
I think my disappointing albums of the year, number 1 was Pusha T's album.
God, sorry.
That was similar to the same reasons that Yemi said. I thought production wise it was missing quite a bit, which was very surprising because he's got 2 of like my top 5 producers on the album. I'm just like, yo, what's happened here?
Too much of a clash, you reckon?
What the fuck has happened?
Think there's too much of a clash?
Maybe. I don't know what it was, man, but it just didn't hit. Lyrically, Pusha's always going to be sharp. When that's never going to be a thing. But the beats just didn't support how high of a level he was rapping at, man. So yeah, that album was disappointing. Then I got Freddie Gibbs as well. I felt like he tried to do a bit too much on his album. I felt like he should really only stick with Alchemist and Madlib. He shouldn't really like detour elsewhere. He attempted to do that.
Yeah, but he's heartbroken.
I just feel like he tried to do too much across the board with the features, with the production, and that brought the levels of the album down for me personally. He was rapping very well, I'll give him that, but overall it just wasn't a great album, man.
Shame the devil.
Yeah, I mean, what's the faces for?
And the last 2
Shame the
albums he's
devil.
dropped have been with Alchemist and Madlib, so it's
Shame-
like, come on,
shame-
man, you got to keep the levels in line. You
Shame
know what
the
I'm saying? And then my
Shame the
last
devil.
one was Joey Badass. It'd been a long time since he last dropped an album, and I thought, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm really looking forward to this, man, because he had dropped an EP. I think it might have been last year, the year before that I really enjoyed. So I was like, yeah, you know what? This album should be really good. But nah, man, this album just wasn't good for me, man. I was really disappointed, and I'm not quite sure where it sits as far as whether I go back to his music again. Because I feel like the last few releases after 1999 just haven't been it for me.
So basically
man.
every release since
No,
1999.
because he had an EP where I thought was really good.
It was just this
But
album.
then he had the American Badass album where he had that song with J. Cole, and then he had this album as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It might just be a thing where he should just stick to the acting, man.
Wow.
Maybe.
He's a great actor, though.
But he's a dope rapper. You don't think he's a dope rapper?
No, he's a dope rapper, but he's just not. He's not putting it together.
I thought
In
too
long
far.
album form, he's not putting it together. In these short little EPs, cool. But bro,
10-track
if
list.
you're not figuring out by now, he's been in the game for a while now, man. And if it's still a case where you ain't really like figured it out like album wise, then you know what I mean, you got to figure it out.
It was a solid album for me. And Freddie Gibbs, hard to disagree.
Yeah,
But I
that's
feel you.
fair, man. God bless.
Feel you. Fair. I mean, yeah, I think Joey Badass, he's in a weird spot. Like I think he's still trying to pander to like, not pander, but
I think he's trying to break out of that underground umbrella that we kind of painted him with because of what he first came out doing. And I feel like he's just not doing the other shit very well.
well, I think he's trying to pander to that element of it whilst also trying to break out. And maybe the other stuff doesn't work out too well, depending on your taste. I think the things that song with Chris Brown was awful. I'll
There you
give you
go.
that. I'll give you that.
I don't
But-
even feel like they're a good like fit.
No, they're not. They're not.
So-
They're not. There are some albums where you see, and I think I feel this with Freddie Gibbs as well, but I think it was done better. There are albums where these certain types of rappers who have these connects feel the need to bring these connects onto an album, even if it doesn't mean that they fit. So you got Diddy on Joey's album. You've
But
got.
that fit.
You think
That
that
was
fit?
a nice intro. Yeah, that was a nice intro.
Well, even still, like Chris Brown And then on Freddie, you've got you got Rick Ross, you got Pusha T, you've got K Tronado producing the track, which was like a really great track, and it doesn't always work for certain people. So I think some people who are in that position where they can bring in all these names do it for the sake of it, and it doesn't always necessarily mean that the result will be good. But listen, man, Joey, you've got a fan in me.
Listen, I still love Joey, but I just don't know whether I can go back to any of his albums.
Told the brother stick to acting.
Or whether I'll go.
You told the brother
stick
stick to acting.
Stick to
I
acting.
think maybe he might need to think about sticking to the acting.
He's a great actor,
He's doing very well in that field, so why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not shitting on him.
backhanded compliment.
What's the
But
next?
it's fine. We will move swiftly on then to our favorite producers of the year.
I've got 2.
Go true, Mo.
So I've got. Let me just double check my list. Sorry.
Whilst you're doing that, I'll
got-
go.
Alright, go on.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've got my 2. I was gonna say Alchemist and Hitboy.
Oh, okay.
I've got Alchemist because
Ooh.
I believe he done We Cry Together, and he got about 6 songs on Tana Talk. And I've got Hitboy because of I was gonna say King's Disease 3, but seeing as I could use Magic, King's Disease 3 and Magic. But yeah, and that's my reason why I got Alchemist, because I think We Cry Together is fucking phenomenal, and he's got I think 6 songs on Tana Talk, which are phenomenal as well.
Yeah,
So
I've got Alchemist as well, bro. He gave me Blackest in the Room with Freddie Gibbs.
Oh, brother, that beat switch.
Bro, he gave me Diesel with Cool G Rap.
Oh, bruv.
Bruv, he gave me the album with Currency this year, the album with Rock Marciano this year. What else? I can't even think of what else he's given me. But
I'll help you because he's on my list as
Go
well.
on, then, go on.
oh, is your
Yes, he's got a few dope joints on L Sweatshirt's album. He's got Piano Love, Conway.
Piano Love, yes.
yeah,
He's got Johnny P's Caddy.
Yes.
He's got We Cry Together. He's got Cool G Rap Diesel. Bruv, he was on Stuffasis.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Hit Boy as well. Big up Hit Boy. Conductor Williams as well.
Aye.
Madlib as well. And those are my producers of the year.
Man, I've got Conductor Williams for Peppers alone.
Bro.
I've got Inflow for
Inflow shit, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, thank you. I've got The Alchemist. I've got Danger Mouse for cheat codes.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that Danger Mouse has been gone for a while, and then he came back to show us, he is so multi everything in this thing. He can step into Griselda's world. He can give you the kind of dusty soul samples. He can give you all of that. So shout out to Danger Mouse.
Salute to Danger.
I think Nux deserves credit for Alpha Place because he produced pretty much every song along with other producers. Yeah, I checked the credits today. He's got a credit on every song. So I got to salute him for that as well. And Hit Boy as well. For Nas, Magic, and KD3. And for a song he produced on Absol's new album, which is, I banged it out on the way here. Like at least 30 to 50 times. So yeah, that's mine.
Salute to Hitboy. Salute to Alchemist. Salute to all the producers mentioned.
Yeah, man. Alchemist, he can do no wrong, man.
Hey, man.
He really can do no wrong.
Unanimous MVP.
Yeah, for me, production-wise.
I'd have to give it to him as well.
Yeah, I would have to give it to him. I just had a Hitboy there because of everything else he done as well.
I think his position amongst like top producers all time, we might need to reevaluate that conversation.
For sure.
Because I want to understand what it takes to get in that upper tier of GOATs. Because the only thing he might not have is like hits or, the songs that have really like shifted culture in any sort of way in it. So, but yeah, we should revisit that conversation.
I mean, it depends on what part of the culture we're talking about. Because, stuff like Keep It Thorough, and then he's got like, the stuff with Gibbs, and he's got so many different, Willie the Kid, he's got so many like bangers with all these type people. Underground, he's cemented.
Yeah, that's where it gets a bit tricky though with the conversation you mean. That's where it gets tricky. Like, what about these other producers who might not be as good?
Bronson, he's got so much. So much. So I hear you though. He definitely needs to be evaluated for sure. For sure.
It's tricky though, man.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. I think we have one more topic.
What's that?
And it is judging. So basically, at the end of every end of year episode, we make predictions for what's going to happen at the new year. For the following year as well. And we always evaluate how our predictions were and see if we were right or wrong. So that's what we're going to do right now, basically. I've only got 2 predictions that I made this time last year. One was a resounding yes, and one was a resounding no. So the resounding no was Drake and Kanye making a joint album. That clearly didn't happen. And shout out to Drake for lending more light to that situation and saying in her loss that you're basically forced to by Jay Prince. Appreciate you, bro.
We knew that.
Appreciate you, bro. I mean, listen, you believe it a lot more when it's coming from the horse's mouth.
It's a fact.
So that was my resounding no. My resounding yes, and this is why I didn't put this album in my disappointing albums, because I already predicted that it would be disappointing. I predicted that Stormzy would drop and his album would be disappointing. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I got that right. So yeah, those are my predictions. I'm surprised I didn't make more, but those are mine.
Do you have your predictions?
I don't have any predictions. I never predict, man.
You didn't predict nothing last year?
No, the year before that, I think I predicted that we might begin to see the fall off of Drake, but
You was right.
I didn't.
Just a year.
I didn't predict anything for this.
That's a
year.
sticky one.
AC, he was right. Just a year. He opened his third eye.
Stays open, bro.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? The shoppers are aligned in that.
Come on now, can we finish off what we're doing? Just real quick, I had Jay-Z dropping an album. Clearly, I was wrong. And I had Kendrick going to drop the best album of the year. I think I did anyway.
Yeah.
I had Kendrick's going to drop album of the year, and I had Jay-Z is going to drop an album. So I was 1 for 1. 1 right, 1 wrong. We can live with that.
That's a shout, actually. None of us had like Jay-Z's God Did verse in our top verse.
I was going to mention that earlier. No one did actually as well.
I wasn't moved.
I was moved.
I mean,
I moved a little bit. But
You know-
Jigger, it's always
Yeah,
love.
he's one of the
love-
goats.
love
You know how
seeing him
everybody-
rap,
you know how
hearing him rap, but
You know how everyone's dicks went
But yeah,
hard, and you know what I'm saying. Like,
God damn.
but everyone's
Whoa,
dicks
man.
did go hard,
sorry,
bro.
I'm not adult enough not to pause
Everyone's,
that, bro. I'm sorry, man.
everyone.
God.
But you know what I'm saying.
I went 1 for 1. I was right on the Kendrick dropping album of the year. I was wrong clearly on Jay-Z dropping an album. So I'll take that.
Feel you. Well. I mean, again, been an amazing year.
Phenomenal.
Too many highlights to speak of. Like, if you think about stuff like Sims winning the Mercury Prize for Simbi, that was an amazing moment as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't have time to go into moments, but that's one that really sticks into my head and really cementing like her legacy.
Koji being nominated.
Koji being nominated as well. Sims and Nux joint winning the Mobile Award for Album of the Year as well. Great moment as well. It kind of solidifies the hustle of so-called alt musicians that are now kind of more in the limelight, mainstream-wise. So yeah, I think generally we've just seen a lot of amazing stuff.
We've had great moments. Mel made me do it was a moment.
Mel made me do it.
Like, we've had a lot of great moments.
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
agree.
great moments. Kendrick dropping was a moment.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good
Drake
moments.
and
this year.
21's
Heart Part 5 was a moment.
Heart Part 5
Yeah.
was a big moment, man.
Drake and 21's Fake Tiny Desk. That was funny.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Drake and Kanye.
Drake
Well,
and Kanye, yeah.
That was a bit of a moment.
Kanye generally, bro. But we will get into
We
that
won't
one.
get into that. Trying to think anything else? Nah, as a Cole fan, can't like hearing Cole and Benny and hearing Cole on that Beer song was a moment. Especially the Benny song. I ain't heard that in years. So yeah, man. I think it's been a phenomenal rap year.
It has been.
And it's not going to be the same next year.
You don't think so?
No way.
I mean, we've got
We're
quite
not-
a lot to look forward to, I'd say.
I think we've got Huss to look forward to. Dave to look forward to. I'm going out on a limb and say Jay-Z as well,
Maybe Cole. We've definitely got Drake to look forward to.
unfortunately.
I mean, look forward.
Yeah.
Inverted commas for anyone that didn't see.
Hey, man. So what will be your prediction going into next year?
I mean, Huss. I think Huss will drop. I think Sims might drop again as well.
For real?
I think she's in that mode, a bit like Nas, where she's just on this creative. The creative juices are flowing,
Just get it out.
and she's just gonna get it out, and it's gonna be amazing stuff. So I think we're gonna hear more from Sims.
I wouldn't be shocked because I was a bit surprised to get what we got just now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fair dues, fair dues.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
she dropped it on a Monday, like
Yeah.
so
Random
innocuously.
day, yeah.
So innocuously. Like she gave us maybe like 3-4 days lead time. So yeah, I think it might be one of those ones again. Nas might drop again.
Wouldn't
He
put
might drop again. Maybe a Magic 2. That'd be amazing.
I think
Nas.
Dave's going to drop.
We'll see, man.
I think Dave's going to drop. I think Dave, Huss, and Jay-Z are going to drop. That's my gamble this year.
I feel that.
And I think Huss is going to have the best album in the UK by far.
Does Young Thug get out in 2023?
No.
I don't even want to put money. I don't even want
No?
to. Inshallah, he does. Like, prayers up. I mean, gun is free, so you never know.
Do you man have any hopes, wishes, and dreams for next year?
Well, generally.
Well, music wise, obviously. I mean, we could talk about life if you want.
I mean-
No, that very much sounded like a life question.
No, I'll talk about rap.
But
My only hope is Huss, really. I've heard some snippets
of course you have.
of music.
How?
Mimi, she posted it. She tweeted it.
I was going to say, of course.
It's not some industry thing. She follows us on Twitter.
No, I thought you see you with it.
So yeah, I've heard some snippets and it sounds good. So hopefully that comes to fruition. That's the only hope. The only hope that I have. Everything else can come with it. Can come what may.
I think it's gonna be.
same. I don't have any.
I think it's gonna be a meaty year.
Meaty.
I think it's gonna be an all right year.
I think with
I don't think it's gonna be a great year because of what's happened this year.
Mm.
You know, sometimes it could be an overload, and then a lot of people take a breather. I think that's what's gonna happen next year.
do you know why I think a meaty year isn't possible anymore at this point? Because take mainstream out of it. There are too many rappers
I see. What you mean.
underground and under the underground that are dropping consistent stuff and will continue to drop consistent stuff that will keep us purring and keep us entertained throughout the year.
I see what you're saying.
So I feel like we're never for like hip hop fans, there's never going to be a meaty year. We're never going to run out
All right,
of
let me not say
amazing stuff.
meaty.
I don't think.
It's not gonna be as good of a year as this year. Let me say that
I don't know, man.
What have you seen to make you feel that way? Though?
because you can name 15 albums for album of the year.
I think
This
we'll be,
isn't
able to,
the first year that we've had amazing albums, bro.
we'll
Not
be able
the
to do the
first
same
year.
next year.
But I just don't. What'd you say?
We'll be able to do the same thing next year.
We'll see.
I think artists are just going to get better, man.
Hey man. All right, well we'll see.
I think we're going to get a lot of good albums next year as well. I think a lot of people that didn't drop this year are going to drop next year.
And that's how I decided to go in it in a
Yeah, I mean,
cyclical
I
way.
feel like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that drop this year are going to drop next year as well.
And a lot of the good albums that we got from the particular artists, I think they're in the zone. I don't think that's going to change.
Apart
And
from
the ones that are in a bad place, then they might be in a particular zone, or they may be inspired to do better.
Precisely.
If Drake drops
So-
if Drake drops an album, it's gonna be whack. Yeah, I'm taking your bar.
Fair.
He's gonna drop a whack album if he drops.
So that's your prediction.
I've got 2 predictions. I think we're gonna have worse off year than we did this year. I think J Hus is gonna have album of the year, UK or US. And if Drake drops, it's gonna be beyond meaty.
Okay, so you've said before, do you think UK music is meaty? Do you think that that's going to carry on into next year?
Ooh. Nah. Because when I made that comment, I wasn't really listening to Koji at the moment. Even Knox has grown on me. His album's grown on me. So there's a lot of people that I wasn't aware of back then. Even Mini Kings.
Did you hear that?
I wasn't aware of Mini
Did you hear
Kings.
that, listeners? That is the sound of a tune changing.
No, I wasn't aware of Mini Kings. I wasn't aware of Koji. There was a lot of people I weren't aware of. I was just talking on a main stage. Don't get it twisted. Mainstream level UK music is dead. Let's not get that fucked up. Mainstream wise, UK music is in an atrocious place. But when we below that surface level, we're talking.
Feel you?
Do you know what I mean? But on a main stage, you might need to fix up. You're whack.
Anyone in particular you're talking to?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say the name.
Why not?
I'm not gonna do that.
Feel you?
I'm not. But yeah, there is one UK rap I'm thinking about essentially in the back of my mind. God damn, you're whack.
Central C.
Nah. I don't mind Sench. I don't mind Sench. Do I listen to Sench? I'm a grown man now. But salute to Sench.
I mean, I don't have a hope for Central C, but if he drops an album, I'll be listening.
And I was thinking about the people you mentioned as well. Honcho, I think is whack. K-Trap, I think is whack.
If you listen to him,
K-Trap,
Yeah.
no chance. Now you know how.
you've been hanging out with Peter too much. You've been hanging out with him too much, brother. But it's all good. I mean, it's been an amazing year for us, hasn't it?
Phenomenal, man.
Like
Phenomenal.
rhymes like dimes.
Yeah, it's been a good year, man.
It's been a good year, man.
Give all the glory.
You know, a lot of amazing moments, a lot of amazing guests.
Unexpected too.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all of the guests that we've had on the show this year. Very much appreciate all of your contributions and all of that as well, man. Very, very fruitful for us. Shout out to Lewis Culture, Lord Apex, Flohio, Ayrton, Novelist, Cyan Anderson, Asher Kosha, and Rich a couple times as well. Very much appreciate everything that you contributed to the pod this year. Shout out to all of the listeners and shout out to everybody that has watched us as well. We made the transition to visuals this year as well, so that was a big step for us. And you know, from what I've seen, we've been very much well received. You know, subscriber count is growing, so we thank you very much for that. Yeah, man, very, very grateful for this year. It's been a big step up for us, and hopefully more big steps to come in 2023 as well. Inshallah. Big ups to Drake's as well.
Salute
You know what I'm
to
saying?
Drake.
New addition to the family as well this year.
My
Listen, man,
brother.
you've made us look good all year, so we appreciate you as well, my guy. Here's to many more.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And boys, always a pleasure, man. Always a
Always.
pleasure.
Always, man. Always, man.
It's
It started
always-
off as some fun. It's still some fun. The day it stops becoming fun is the day we'll stop it.
But yeah, thank you once again for listening. Thank you very much again for watching. We wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. We'll be back, I think mid-January we'll be back. So yeah, we'll be back there. It's hopefully refreshed and ready to talk hip-hop as we do. this passion that we love. So until then, take care, stay safe, and peace.